from these two victims who were right on their duty when this accused Ansari Zubair came to them. Let me quote it for our viewers, what exactly he asked them. He said, and now this is what victims has revealed, in fact, they asked if I was Hindu, and then, are you Hindu? And then he was stabbed. So exactly what played out in Pahalgam 1 year before, this is what now played out in Mumbai this morning. These two victims were asked if they are Hindu. They were asked to recite Kalma, and when they refused to do so, they were targeted. So it's clearly based on their religion. They were stabbed by Zubair Ansari right outside the building when they were on their duty. And let me also reveal it to you, in fact, what exactly these victims said. They were asked first, are you Hindu? And then they were asked to recite Kalma, and when they refused to do so, they were stabbed by Ansari Zubair. So it is a targeted attack that's taken place based on their religion. Now remember, this exact pattern also unfolded in Pahalgam last year as well. There also about 26 individuals, 26 innocent lives were taken based on their religion. They were asked if they were Hindus, and when they refused, they were asked to recite Kalma, and they could not do so, they were killed. Exactly what happened in Mumbai also this morning. And now victims' statement, in fact, has come out. Remember, they are currently receiving a treatment, both of them. One still remains in critical condition. The other one is still reported to be in a much stable condition. But now they have come out revealing the exact sequence of how this attack unfolded this morning today, and revealing that how they were asked about their religious identity. They were clearly asked if they are Hindu, and when they said they are not, they were asked to recite Kalma, and when they could not, they were stabbed by this accused Ansari Zubair. Back to you, Shiva.
Yeah, definitely, Ishita, but also his house has been sealed, and the kind of literature that has been fetched in the investigation, because now ATS has taken over the entire matter. He was inspired by ISIS. He was completely radicalized. What do the investigations reveal? Because if you look at the kind of attack that he conducted, he injured one security guard where he has sustained injuries to his intestine, and the other, that is Sain, who has sustained injuries on the backside. The one guard has suffered serious injuries. Both of them are receiving treatment, but this could have proved to be fatal, Ishita.
Right, of course. Now, at this stage, National Investigative Agency and ATS Mumbai both have been roped into this investigation. And as per the raids that were conducted by Mumbai police, now several jihadi literature has been found from this accused home. Now, several papers with ISIs written on it, jihad written on it, shows how radicalized this individual had become. And now questioning right now is underway by NIA to understand whether this was a lone wolf attack or whether he was working on the direction of some external handlers, or whether some terror organizations were involved in this. So on these lines, the questioning is still underway. The accused is now being questioned by ATS Mumbai, who's been roped into this investigation. And currently, as per the raids which were conducted by Mumbai police, several jihadi literature has now been found from his home, which shows that he was in fact inspired by ISIS.
Yeah, Ishita, but it also needs to be examined, because this was a lone wolf attack. It's easy to carry. You don't need sophisticated weaponry in this case, neither an assault rifle or an automatic weapon in this case. And you can conduct an attack using a knife in this case, and he was successful in that, but it could have proven to be fatal. And also the kind of literature that was found, the words, the text which was written there, ISIS, I'll mention what we found in the investigation, the ATS found in the investigation. Lone wolf, jihad was clearly mentioned. Now, certain people will object to the word jihad being used, but this was clearly found in the investigation. And also Gaza was written in the note. So this is completely a textbook example of how radicalization takes place, Ishita. Similar to how the Pahalgam attack took place. You ask people about the religion, and if they are not the same religion as of yours, and then you kill them, you attack them. He wanted to kill the people there, Ishita.
Right, Shwam, I agree with you. It was a targeted attack based on the religious identity of these two guards, and also the fact that how these lone wolf attacks have become a tactic deployed by terror groups all across the country. We have seen such attacks also playing out in Europe over the past few years, and now these are low-cost, effective attacks that are carried out by these radicalized individuals. So in a way, we see at a terror organization essentially outsourcing their works to these individuals who they continue to radicalize through internet. We have seen such attacks also taking place in Germany, in France, and now India as well, where these lone wolves are acting, in fact, alone. There are no links to terror organization and no accomplice who are found in these attacks, but they continue to get radicalized through online material, and then they carry out these attacks based on the kind of material they have been, in fact, inducing over the years. So we have seen such attack also play out, but right now, remember, the investigation is still on, so we'll have to see, of course, whether this was a lone wolf attack or whether there were other handlers also involved or other links to terror organizations also come out as the investigation still continues in this case.
Yeah, but it also needs to be investigated, Ishita, because he was conducting online classes, maybe in the garb of online classes, and that too chemistry classes. God knows whether he was planning to make bombs, IEDs, and he could have planted at many places, and maybe he was teaching other people to do the same. Will this also be a part of the investigation, of the ongoing investigation? A knife attack is one of the attacks that he was successful in, but maybe this was part of a larger plot that they all might have been planning, as seen earlier in earlier cases also, Ishita.
Right, Shivam, this also raises the concern when we talk about a white-collar terror threat. We have seen a such incident also play out last in Red Fort blast, where these are educated individuals who are radicalized, and then they go to, get basically in this habit of, in fact, getting influenced by these radicalized elements and then get roped into these terror groups. Now, this individual, in fact, in question is also an educated individual. He was in the United States. He was studying there for several years, and now, in fact, he came back. He was living alone in his apartment for several years and was completely, going through these radicalized literature online. So, does raises concern about the white-collar terror threat that India is now facing, something that was repeated in the Red Fort blast last year and also seems to be emerging in this case.
Yeah, Ishita, you completely understand the kind of pressure that Pakistan is in, because after India's successful reply, a very strong response after the Pahalgam attack, we bombarded their various Air Force bases, the terror hideouts. Now, Pakistan is in constant pressure, and they are trying to activate the fringe elements, and in this case, the sleeper cells. Now, he might also be a part of the sleeper cell. If you remember, because for Jaish-e-Mohammed, there was Tufat al-Muminat, which was an online training course for radicalizing women to become jihadis. Now, goes on in a similar pattern in this case also. He was radicalized, he was teaching online, could be a part of a bigger network, Ishita.
Right, of course. Now, in fact, Shivam, this is not a new tactic that's been employed by Pakistan. We have seen ever since the 1970s, 80s, it has been engaging in this asymmetric warfare against India, because it knows that when it comes to conventional warfare, it stands nowhere as against India's military might. So therefore, Pakistan engages in these fringe elements in training these terror groups so that it tries to infiltrate India with. And now we're looking at, of course, with Operation Sindoor, India drew the red lines very clearly that when it comes to terror, India will hit back, and India will hit back hard. So, of course, there's much pressure on Pakistan as far as these red lines are concerned.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ishita, for the updates in this story. All right, viewers, it's now time to slip into a short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. We have a lot more lined after a short commercial break. Coming up next, Anil Ambani in bigger trouble now. ED attaches fresh assets worth 3,034 crore, properties of Reliance Communications and Infra attached. Also coming up, TMC versus BJP over appointment of Uttar Pradesh's top police officer Ajay Pal Sharma as West Bengal poll observer. TMC says Bengal is no Uttar Pradesh. The Singham from UP begins action in Bengal, raids hideouts of TMC candidate Jahangir Khan.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and
All right, viewers, coming after a short commercial break, Anil Ambani in bigger trouble now. ED attaches fresh assets worth 3,034 crores, properties of Reliance Communications and Infra attached. TMC versus BJP over appointment of Uttar Pradesh's top police officer Ajay Pal Sharma as West Bengal poll observer. TMC says Bengal is no Uttar Pradesh. The Singham from UP begins action in Bengal, raids hideouts of TMC candidate Jahangir Khan.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा सिंह MDH का जलजीरा जीरा सिंह
जीरा सिर्फ असली रिफ्रेशिंग असली स्वाद असली मजा
MDH
Character, the taste of success.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है अरे मेरे राजा
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane through the visor and the missile follows the eyes. This high off-bore sight ability
Hello and very warm welcome. You're watching Live and Breaking on Republic TV with me, Ishita Mitra. Now, viewers, one day remains to the second and final phase of polling in West Bengal. This is when Bhadralok goes to vote. 142 seats are up for grabs, getting you all the updates on the other side. But first up, a quick check at the top headlines. Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can. Anil Ambani in bigger trouble now. ED attaches a fresh assets worth 3,034 crores, properties of Reliance Communication and Infra attached.
समझ लें कि अगर किसी ने बदमाशी करी तो उनका कायदे से इलाज किया जाएगा फिर।
TMC versus BJP over appointment of Uttar Pradesh's top police Ajay Pal Sharma as West Bengal poll observer. TMC says Bengal is no Uttar Pradesh.
साफ भाषा में अजय पाल शर्मा जी को एक चीज बताना चाहता हूं। 4 तारीख रिजल्ट निकलने के बाद आप जहां भी भाग जाएं, आप छुप नहीं पाएंगे।
TMC spokesperson openly threatens IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma, says we have our eye on you and even BJP will not be able to save you after May 4th. TMC claims signs of internal unrest within West Bengal BJP, alleges 3 BJP leaders reached out to a senior TMC leader. Republic speaks to West Bengal Chief Electoral Officer Manoj Agrawal ahead of Phase 2 election. He appeals to voters to vote without fear. In a Pahalgam-style attack, a Mumbai man stabbed security guard after asking them to recite Kalma. ISIS-linked material found at accused home, attempt home. Attempted detonation attack in Patiala on railway track. A body of accused found in pieces at the blast site. BJP takes a big lead in Gujarat. Local body elections are trailing behind Congress in all districts of Gujarat. All right, here's our top focus at this hour. Now, clashes erupted in Surat after the defeat of Congress candidate nicknamed as Cyclewala in the local body polls. And following the result, BJP workers raised slogans of Pancher. Now, this led to a confrontation unfolding between the two sides in Surat. This comes after the local body elections. And now clashes are being reported between the two sides as Congress loses a crucial seat while BJP raises slogans. Now, this has led to confrontation unfolding on this site after Congress candidate lost in local body polls. Now, viewers, following the result of BJP workers raised slogans leading to a confrontation between the two sides at this site. Now, in fact, it was a Congress candidate nicknamed as Cyclewala who was at the center of this confrontation unfolding between the two sides. Now, this comes after the local body elections and clashes now were seen on the ground in Surat after the defeat of Congress candidate. Now, BJP, in fact, had raised some slogans and this led to a confrontation unfolding between the two sides, between the BJP and Congress workers on the site. In fact, remember, this comes after the crucial local body elections in Gujarat. And visuals on your screen now of the confrontation unfolding between the Congress and BJP workers on ground. All right, in fact, these are the visuals we're getting you from Surat. This is where Congress and BJP workers clashed on site right after Congress candidate nicknamed as Cyclewala lost a crucial seat in this election. And post that, BJP workers were raising some slogans which led to a confrontation unfolding at the site. Now, on your screen, you can see how the cadres on ground, in fact, were engaging in these clashes, both from BJP and Congress side. Remember, this comes after Congress lost a crucial seat in this local body elections. In fact, it was a Congress candidate which went by the name of Cyclewala. He lost a crucial seat, this leading to confrontation on this site. Now, it was the BJP workers who were raising slogans, some controversial slogans, in fact, post which clashes emerged on the site with both the sides engaging in confrontation, as you can see on your screen. All right, my colleague Swarali has been very closely tracking all these election updates and now joins us. Swarali, take us through what exactly unfolded after this Congress candidate lost his seat. We are hearing BJP side raised some slogans and this essentially led to the confrontation.
Yes, Ishrita, let me tell you that India is conducting elections in several states, and now if we talk about specifically about Gujarat, today is the day of results of local body elections, and now there are two different instances in the state of Gujarat of little skirmishes or tussle between party workers. On one hand, in Surat, as we are talking about, we can see visuals on our screen as the Congress leader who was the contestant in the same municipal corporation election lost his seat, and post the results started coming out, there were slogans being raised by the BJP party members saying puncture hai. So these were there. This was the way to target the Congress contestant, which led to a tussle between both the party members, which is very clearly visible on screen. On the other hand, if I tell you about the data, Surat Municipal Corporation has total 120 seats, out of which, according to the current information we have, 59. BJP is leading on 59 seats, and on only one seat Congress is leading. On the other hand, there is an instance which was recorded in Ahmedabad LD College, wherein the vote counting, result counting is being done right now, wherein the BJP workers have clashed with police officials. So these are the two instances wherein the skirmishes between police officials or party members are being registered right now. If we talk about the entire campaigning part, there were barely any skirmishes or tussles, but on the day of result, there are two different instances in the state of Gujarat. Back to you.
All right, so Rali, thanks so much for joining us and giving us all the updates coming in from Gujarat as far as the local body elections are concerned. And now we're moving on to another election-bound state now. The tussle between TMC and BJP over the cop Ajay Pal Sharma is now escalating. Now TMC, in fact, is protesting at Falta, agitating against the IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma in South 24 Parganas, West Bengal. Now the election observer Ajay Pal Sharma has warned relatives of TMC's Falta Assembly candidate Jahangir Khan after complaints of voter intimidation came to light. But following the complaints, CAPF conducted a search march in the Falta Assembly constituency. TMC supporters raised slogans during the flag march itself. Now we are looking at this tussle between TMC and BJP escalating over a UP cop who's now been posted in West Bengal for his election duty. He's been posted there as a poll observer, and he has been, in fact, warning TMC miscreants to not engage in any clashes during the poll that are set to take place tomorrow. But we are looking at TMC continuously protesting against this officer who's doing nothing but performing his duty. Now, he's been posted there as a poll observer, and he has been making sure that elections are conducted in a free and transparent manner, that voters are able to exercise their franchise fearlessly. But TMC continuously disrupting his poll duty, in fact, also raising slogans during the poll march.
भास्कर इनको अपने गाड़ी में बिठा, सामने वाले गाड़ी में ले जाएंगे वहाँ पे, उनको हमारे गाड़ी में बिठा।
Right, viewers, those are the visuals coming to light, showing, in fact, the IPS officer who's serving at the rank of DIG in Uttar Pradesh and has now been posted as a poll observer in West Bengal, going from street to street, going from house to house, warning TMC miscreants to not engage in intimidation of voters. But we are, of course, looking at TMC supporters raising slogans against him even during the flag march that was conducted. Now, visuals on your screen as he conducts a flag march just ahead of the second and the crucial phase of West Bengal elections. TMC miscreants, in fact, engaging in raising slogans against him. All right, viewers, in fact, we also have other visuals that are coming to light of this IPS officer who's been posted as a poll observer in West Bengal, going around the state performing his duty. Let's take a listen as to how he's warning the miscreants to not engage in intimidation of voters during the second and the crucial phase of polling.
तो फिर उसकी खबर फिर अच्छे चलेंगे हम। ये जहांगीर के घर वाले भी खड़े हैं, उसको बता देना कायदे से। ये बार बार जो खबरें आ रही हैं कि उसके लोग धमका रहे हैं, तो फिर अच्छे से खबर लेंगे, फिर बाद में रोना पछताना मत। तो फिर उसकी खबर फिर अच्छे चलेंगे हम। ये जहांगीर के घर वाले भी खड़े हैं, उसको बता देना कायदे से। ये बार बार जो खबरें आ रही हैं कि उसके लोग धमका रहे हैं, तो फिर अच्छे से खबर लेंगे, फिर बाद में रोना पछताना मत।
All right, viewers, as you can see, IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma has been warning Jahangir Khan, who's contesting on a TMC's ticket and is a history sheeter. Now, he has been engaging in these intimidation and threats being issued to voters. And now, of course, the poll officer Ajay Pal Sharma acting against it. As you can see on video 3 as well, he has been going from street to street, house to house, warning miscreants, specifically Jahangir supporters, to not engage in intimidation and to not issue threats. Let's also take a listen.
कि अगर किसी ने बदमाशी करी तो उनका कायदे से इलाज किया जाएगा। फिर अगर कहीं से खबर आ गई कि किसी ने कोई खुराफात करने की, किसी को परेशान करने की कोशिश की है, तो फिर उसकी खबर फिर अच्छे से लेंगे हम। ये जहांगीर के घर वाले भी खड़े हैं, उसको बता देना। बोल रहा हूं पोलाइटली बोलो, भद्र में बोलो। मैं नहीं पता उसका कहाँ रहता है, वो भी पता। उसका मोबाइल नंबर क्या है? उसको कहीं तो होगा मोबाइल नंबर। हाँ, नोट करिएगा नाम भी खान। नहीं पता पोलाइटली बोलो, भद्र में बोलो। मैं नहीं पता उसका कहाँ रहता है, वो भी पता। उसका मोबाइल नंबर क्या? एक महीना हो गया कि नहीं? नहीं सर, मेरा तो घर यहाँ तो नहीं है ना सर। आपका घर कहीं वहाँ पे एफएसटी तो यही एरिया ना? ये तो यही कर रहे हो ना, तो आपको एरिया का एफएसटी का यही एरिया ना? ये जहांगीर खान का घर कौन सा है उसके अंदर? शर्म आनी चाहिए तुम लोगों को। शर्म हल्के हल्के ले रहे हो ना। केसेस सबके रजिस्टर होंगे, जाएंगे सीबीआई को इन्वेस्टिगेशन। दौड़ते रहना थोड़ा जल्दी।
All right, my colleague Harsha now joins me with more details on this. Harsha, we are looking at this IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma versus TMC escalating. We have seen he's been going around not just warning the TMC miscreants to not engage in intimidation, but also assuring voters that they can come out, vote fearlessly as forces stand with them. But TMC clearly not happy with the poll observer just performing his duty.
With BJP sending its, central government deploying its the Singham officer in the state of West Bengal sends out a clear message that what sort of officers are right now needed in the state of West Bengal. We very well know Ishita's phase 2 is a very challenging phase, stronghold of TMC and higher chances of violence in the phase 2 from Diamond Harbour to Howrah Hooghly region and also Nadia and Pur Bardhaman. These are the areas which has seen immense violence in the past, and that is the reason police officers like Ajay Pal Sharma are now in, have been appointed in duty, deployed here in the Diamond Harbour area, basically majorly to ensure that there's no violence. Jahangir, who is the right hand of Abhishek Banerjee, he was seen threatening the IPS Ajay Pal Sharma, the officer, during the last year of the campaigning, and the response was given by Ajay Pal Sharma by going at Jahangir residence and telling him that he can't intimidate and he can't scare the voters. Each and every voter will come out and vote, and no one will dare to stop the voters or intimidate them. That was the kind of language Ajay Pal Sharma used when he went there and was doing his duty as a police observer by instructing the voters that they can go out and vote without even any scare of the TMC goons who are the candidate as well. But today what we see is that during the area domination, when Ajay Pal Sharma was with the CAPF officials for the area domination and going door to door to ensure the voters that they don't have to be scared of any party, any goon. They can come out and vote fairly in the state on phase 2 voting day. And while this was happening, TMC supporters gathered and they were protesting against Ajay Pal Sharma. Now, Ashita, what we see is that since the time Ajay Pal Sharma has been deployed and yesterday's video has gone viral, from that time to till now, desperate TMC leaders have started posting against Ajay Pal Sharma, calling him encounter specialist, calling him that as a police observer, he has been sent to West Bengal because now there's no other means for BJP to resort to win this election. But the reality is that to ensure the fair, free and intimidation-free election, one needs a police observer like Ajay Pal Sharma. That's what BJP has stated. Now we have to see exactly how the day transpires and what will be the day on the phase 2 of the election will look like, because Ajay Pal Sharma has been deployed in the most challenging and crucial area of West Bengal, that is Diamond Harbour, the stronghold of TMC leader Abhishek Banerjee, from where the very notorious candidate from TMC has been fielded, who's Jahangir. So we'll have to see exactly how the violence doesn't take place, unrest doesn't take place in the Diamond Harbour area with Ajay Pal Sharma being deployed there. Back to you.
Right, Harsha. And also I want to ask you, when we talk about TMC, it has always been against central agencies and their workers being, deployed in West Bengal. But this time, they've gone a step ahead. They are openly issuing threats that they will come find Ajay Pal Sharma even when elections are over. You have TMC leaders coming out and issuing threats to slit his throat. Now, this is going really extreme.
Ishita, West Bengal is the most unpredictable state. If you talk about violence, if you talk about, how election transpires here, it's the most unpredictable state. Only the predictable thing which has happened here is the violence. Only one has every time predicted if that in the elections there will be violence, there will be booth capturing, there will be rigging. But this time central government deployment have been 2 steps ahead of what this government would have thought, with election commission machinery, with transfer and posting of officers, with all the officers being brought from different states, officers from this place deployed in Tamil Nadu and different places. This clearly indicates that this election is very important in regards with the central forces and the machinery trying to entrust people and tell them, don't be scared, just go out and vote.
Right, Harsha, of course, and we'll come back to you for more developments on West Bengal. Right now, we're slipping into another breaking news we're getting at this hour. Thanks, Harsha, for joining us. And now, viewers, another breaking news coming in as more trouble is now brewing for Anil Ambani. Now, ED here has attached rupees 3,000 crore worth assets in probe against Anil Ambani's Reliance Group. The Enforcement Directorate has now attached fresh assets worth rupees 3,034 crore as part of its ongoing money laundering probe against the Reliance Anil Ambani Group companies. Now, according to sources, the attached properties belong to Reliance Communication and Reliance Infrastructure Limited, and these include a flat in Mumbai, a farmhouse in Kandala, and in fact some land parcels in Sanand, Ahmedabad as well. Along with that, you also have a 7.71 crore shares of our infra among the assets now attached by ED. Now, the central agency issued a provisional attachment order under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act to attach all of these assets belonging to Anil Ambani, and the probe, as it widens in this money laundering case, more trouble is now brewing for Anil Ambani. In fact, in the latest, ED has now attached assets worth over 3,000 crore. These are assets including a farmhouse in Kandala, a flat in Mumbai, as well as some land parcels in Ahmedabad. Now, these are all the properties which have been attached by ED in the case as it continues to probe the money laundering angle against Anil Ambani and his Reliance Group. Now, we're looking at several companies linked to Anil Ambani also being probed as part of this investigation. According to sources, the attached properties, they belong to Reliance Communications and Reliance Infrastructure Limited. Now, viewers, let me also break it down for you. What exactly are these assets? It includes a flat in Mumbai, a farmhouse in Kandala, as well as some land parcels in Ahmedabad, along with 7.71 crore shares of our infra. So all of these assets have now been attached by the central agency, who issued a provisional attachment order under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Now, remember, he has been probed under PMLA, and the probe now seems to be widening. All right, my colleague Sarthak now joins with more details on this. Sarthak, it looks like more trouble for Anil Ambani as ED now attaches assets worth over 3,000 crore in his fresh order. Give us more details about this.
Yes, absolutely. The latest that we are getting for our viewers, ED has attached a fresh set of assets that belong to Anil Ambani. These are commercial properties. These are residential properties that are based out of Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai. These assets are worth over 3,000 crores. That is something that is very important to mention. So far, ED had attached properties that were worth over 15,000 crores, and the latest set of properties that have been attached by ED are over 3,000 crores. That extends and exceeds the amount even more. ED is constantly investigating the matter. A few weeks ago, Anil Ambani was also summoned to the ED office where he came in around 10:30 in the morning and he left around 8:30 in the evening. He was questioned for 10 long hours, but maybe that wasn't enough, and hence he was called for a second round of questioning. The next day he was summoned again. However, it was found out that Anil Ambani was not present for ED questioning the next day. CBI has been investigating the case. CBI has filed multiple FIRs against Anil Ambani. Anil Ambani had also filed an affidavit in court explaining that he's not fleeing away, he's not trying to avoid the investigation, he's going to support the investigation. So at this point, a lot is going on, but the latest that we are getting is that ED has attached fresh set of assets in this case.
All right, Sarthak, thanks so much for joining us and giving us all this breakdown. Now, viewers, we are slipping into a very short break, but coming up on the other side, all the election updates as a TMC spokesperson now openly threatens IPS officer Jaypal Sharma, says, "We have our eye on you, and even BJP will not be able to save you after May 4th. Attempted detonation attack in Patiala on railway track. A body of the accused found in pieces at the blast site. Getting you all the updates on the other side. Stay tuned to Republic.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals.
On the other side, TMC spokesperson openly threatens IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma, says we have our eye on you and even BJP will not be able to save you post May 4th. Getting you all the updates on the other side, stay tuned to Republic TV.
MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ।
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can...
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Republic TV. I'm Gesu Bharadwaj, and Uttar Pradesh's top cop Ajay Pal Sharma has now been deployed in West Bengal, sending a frenzy between the BJP and the TMC that say that Bengal is not Uttar Pradesh. Getting you all the details. Here's a check on your headlines for the hour. Take a look. Anil Ambani in bigger trouble now. ED attaches fresh assets worth 3,034 crore rupees. Properties of Reliance Communications and Infra attached in the charge sheet.
लोग हैं अच्छी तरह से समझ लें कि अगर किसी ने बदमाशी करी तो उनका कायदे से इलाज किया जाएगा।
TMC versus BJP over appointment of Uttar Pradesh's top police Ajaypal Sharma as West Bengal poll observer. TMC says Bengal is no Uttar Pradesh. The Singham from UP begins action in Bengal, raids hideouts of TMC candidate Jahangir Khan.
भाषा में अजयपाल शर्मा जी को एक चीज बताना चाहता हूं। 4 तारीख रिजल्ट निकलने के बाद आप जहां भी भाग जाएं, आप छुप नहीं पाएंगे।
TMC spokesperson openly threatens IPS officer Ajaypal Sharma, after which TMC workers begin to stage protest against the IPS officer deputed for Bengal polls. In a Pahalgam-style attack, Mumbai man stabs security guard after asking them to recite Kalma. ISIS-linked material found at the accused's home. Attempted detonation attack in Patiala on a railway track. Accused identified as Jagrup, whose mutilated body was found 500 meters away from the tracks. BJP takes a big lead in Gujarat local body elections, AAP trailing way behind, and Congress in all districts of Gujarat. Viewers, starting first with a fresh breaking development that comes in from Bengal, where TMC supporters in Falta are now agitating against the IPS officer Ajaypal Sharma's deployment in West Bengal. Now in South 24 Parganas in West Bengal, the election observer Ajaypal Sharma has warned the relatives of TMC's Falta Assembly candidate Jahangir Khan after complaints of voter intimidation came forward. Now following the complaints, CAPF conducted a search march in the Falta Assembly constituency. TMC supporters also raised slogans during the flag march. These are the visuals on your screens coming straight from South 24 Parganas in West Bengal. Now remember, a complete haywire situation that has erupted after TMC has taken to the streets protesting the deployment of Ajaypal Sharma, the IPS officer from Uttar Pradesh, who's been deployed in West Bengal. Listen in to his warnings as Bengal steps up for the second phase of polling.
तो फिर उसकी खबर फिर अच्छे चलेंगे हम। ये जहांगीर के घर वाले भी खड़े हैं, उसको बता देना कायदे से। ये बार बार जो खबरें आ रही हैं कि उसके लोग धमका रहे हैं, तो फिर अच्छे से खबर लेंगे। फिर बाद के आसपास के जितने भी लोग हैं अच्छी तरह से समझ लें कि अगर किसी ने बदमाशी करी तो उनका कायदे से इलाज किया जाएगा। फिर अगर कहीं से खबर आ गई कि किसी ने कोई खुराफात करने की, किसी को परेशान करने की कोशिश की है, तो फिर उसकी खबर फिर अच्छे चलेंगे हम। ये जहांगीर के घर वाले भी खड़े हैं, उसको बता देना कायदे से। ये बार बार जो खबरें आ रही हैं कि उसके लोग धमका रहे हैं, तो फिर अच्छे से खबर लेंगे। फिर बाद में रोना पछताना मत। ना आने वाले कह रहे हैं कि वोट नहीं, वोट नहीं। हमारा ऐसे कह रहा है कि 10 लोग हैं यहाँ पे, 14 लोग हैं यहाँ पे। तमाशा है क्या ये?
ऐसे क्यों बोल रहा है? पोलाइटली बोलो, भद्र में बोलो।
मैं नहीं पता उसका वो कहाँ रहता है, वो नहीं पता। यहाँ रहता है। उसका मोबाइल नंबर क्या है? उनका फोन में तो होगा मोबाइल नंबर। हाँ। नोट करिएगा मोबाइल। आपके साथ नहीं पता।
ऐसे क्यों बोल रहा है? पोलाइटली बोलो।
एक महीना हो गया कि नहीं?
नहीं सर, यहाँ तो नहीं है सर।
आपका घर कहीं हो? आप एफएसटी तो यही एरिया ना? ये तो यही कर रहे हो ना? तो आपको एरिया एफएसटी का यही एरिया ना? ये जहांगीर खान का घर कौन सा है? उसके अंदर शर्म आनी चाहिए। कौन लोग शर्म आए? मैं बताऊँ, इतना हल्के में इतना ले रहे हो ना, केसेस सबके खिलाफ रजिस्टर होंगे, जाएंगे सीबीआई को इन्वेस्टिगेशन। दौड़ते रहना थोड़ा जल्दी।
Viewers, that is IPS Officer Ajay Pal Sharma. He can be seen going around in at least 8 videos where he's asking people about Jahangir Khan and his residence. Now, this comes after the police is beginning its crackdown on Jahangir Khan and his relatives over reports of voter intimidation. Now, in fact, this comes from South 24 Parganas in West Bengal as the state now heads into second phase of polls. Viewers, now pertaining to the same issue, in fact, also listen into the TMC spokesperson Riju Datta brazenly threatening the IPS officer on camera. He says that the TMC will be here on the 4th of May, and then even if the IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma wants to make a run, he will not be able to listen in to the remarks that are being made by the Trinamool Congress.
पर मैं साफ भाषा में अजय पाल शर्मा जी को एक चीज बताना चाहता हूं। आपके ऊपर हमारी नजर है। आप जो ये गैर कानूनी काम कर रहे हैं, ये जो रात के अंधेरे में रेड्स कर रहे हैं, ये जो महिलाओं के साथ अश्लील व्यवहार कर रहे हैं, ये जो डायमंड हार्बर के लोगों को धमका रहे हैं, चमका रहे हैं, ये जो असंवैधानिक काम आप कर रहे हैं अपने बीजेपी के मालिकों के निर्देश पे, मैं आपको इतना बता देना चाहता हूं। 4 तारीख रिजल्ट निकलने के बाद आप जहां भी भाग जाएं, आप छुप नहीं पाएंगे। आपको ऐसा लगता होगा कि हम एक दूसरे राज्य से आए हैं, वहां पर हम चले जाएंगे और मेरा बीजेपी का मालिक मुझे बचा लेगा। मैं आपको सीधी तौर पे यह कहना चाहता हूं कि आपके खिलाफ FIR होगा, आपके खिलाफ चार्जशीट होगा और आपको घसीट के कोर्ट में लाया जाएगा, जहां पर कानून सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई आपके खिलाफ करेगी। कोई राज्य, कोई बीजेपी का मालिक आपको बचा नहीं पाएगा।
Also being joined by my colleague Harsha to get us more updates. Harsha, this is something that's not been seen before. TMC has come out and they've given an open warning single-handedly to the IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma, who's not doing anything but doing everything that's constitutional. He's working on the ground, making sure that voters can go out and step out and cast their vote freely. And even then, TMC has issued a stark warning against him. And in fact, this is not just a warning, it is a threat by the TMC against Ajay Pal Sharma.
Yes, Gesu and TMC leaders and candidates are used to for open threats and openly threatening. Not only the earlier we have seen they have openly threatened the police officials who have which were transferred and posted by the central government. They were openly threatening the security personnel who were deployed earlier in the other elections. But now we see that the police observers who are doing their duty here in the West Bengal before phase 2, now the TMC candidate is openly threatening the police officer Ajay Pal Sharma. But Gesu, here is the update which for all our viewers, that the Election Commission of India has taken cognizance of this threat by Jahangir, who is the TMC candidate from the Falta, very close to Abhishek Banerjee, the TMC MP from Diamond Harbour. And Election Commission has clearly stated that the video is being reviewed and also stringent action will be taken against those who are trying to threaten and intimidate by any means or to the officers who have been deployed here for the phase 2 election. And also, Gesu, one more thing, Ajay Pal Sharma went there after it was notified to police officers that Jahangir is going to each and every house, knocking the door of each and every voter and going and intimidating them that all the voters have to only vote TMC and no other party, and if it will not be done in TMC way, then there will be other actions which will be taken against the voters only. So this was the intimidating tactics which Jahangir was adapting before phase 2 election. That is the reason why Ajay Pal Sharma, who is also known as Singham and also called the encounter specialist in UP, has been sent here because he is a kind of officer who can only pertain to the facts and who can only take care of such TMC goons, the candidate who have adapted the goon-like character, intimidating the voters there, and he is only dealing with them in a right way in their own language. Ajay Pal Sharma giving a befitting reply to Jahangir by telling and openly going to the house of Jahangir Jahangir, telling each and every house member that no one can intimidate the voters. This is a democratic elections. This is a democracy. Each and every person has a right to cast their vote with their intention, with their choice of vote, not with the choice which the TMC wants. And that was a messaging which was sent by Ajay Pal Sharma, and Election Commission has taken cognizance of the video of Jahangir, and we're expecting that some sort of action will be taken against this candidate for threatening video directly to the police observer. Back to you.
In fact, Harsha, also speak to us about the Election Commission now taking a lowdown of the situation that's unfolding. You know, like you mentioned, the Election Commission has stepped in, but I also want to know from you what exactly has the Election Commission said about this entire thing. You know, reports of intimidation of police authorities, of people who are in uniform, who have been put on ground to look after voter safety, they're being intimidated. So a constitutional authority, a constitutional body is coming under intimidation by a political voice from the Trinamool Congress. So what is this looking like for the TMC, and also what has the Election Commission said about this, Harsha?
So, Gesu, I'll read it for you. So, Election Commission of India, the CEO West Bengal, Chief Election Officer in West Bengal, just now have told to all media, all media agencies off cam. He has clearly stated that there was a report submitted by Ajay Pal Sharma regarding Jahangir and him threatening each and every voter. And based on the report submitted by the police observer Ajay Pal Sharma, full cooperation will be extended to the observer, and also necessary action will be taken against those who are trying to threaten the voters. So this clearly indicates that Ajay Pal Sharma has submitted his report regarding the TMC candidate Jahangir for intimidating voters, and action will be taken. But before that, Gesu, we have to understand the nitty-gritty of this particular state. The second phase, 142 constituency, is a stronghold of TMC, and TMC is very desperate because of the first phase election and the higher voter turnout. The mindset, the edge seems to be on the side of the BJP, and that has made TMC more and more desperate and that's the reason why they're resorting to intimidation and going door to door, intimidating and scaring the voters. And there's a reason why since the time first phase has been concluded, the raids are underway, explosives are being found, the troublemongers have been arrested, taken into custody, so that voters have this trust on the machinery that this is the first time in West Bengal they can go out, cast their vote without any fear from any sort of party. And that is the reason why continuously area domination is being done by the police observer. Today morning in Falta, when Ajay Pal Sharma, there was a protest by the supporters of TMC against Ajay Pal Sharma. At that time, area domination was going on. The officials were going door to door to each and every household, telling them that they have to vote. They have to vote fairly. They have to vote on their own choice, not being intimidated by any sort of candidate.
Yeah, understood. Thanks very much for getting us a lowdown on the situation, Harsha. In fact, viewers, for now, we're shifting focus to another breaking development that we're tracking. Viewers, now, Dawood Ibrahim's close aide Salim Dola has been deported to India from Turkey. Now, visuals of officials taking Dola to get questioning ongoing after he arrived in India have floated. Now, we're getting a look, the first look of Salim Dola being taken away by the investigating agencies after he has been deported to India from Turkey. Now, remember, he's just been deported today. Those are the visuals of the agencies, the NCB, the NIA, taking Salim Dola in custody and taking him for further questioning and investigation. Now remember, he was apprehended in Istanbul following a joint operation by the Turkish intelligence and local police, following which he has been deported to India just today from Turkey. Now he's a high-ranking member of Dawood Ibrahim's network, and Dola arrived at the Delhi Technical Airport on a special aircraft just this morning. In fact, he's immediately been taken into custody by the Narcotics Control Bureau, and he's been taken to the headquarters for further interrogation. He's in fact also expected to be handed over to the Mumbai police later to further the investigation, the probe against Salim Dola. Now this deportation was executed under an Interpol red notice that was issued at the request of the Indian agencies to Turkey, and just today morning Salim Dola has been deported back to India via New Delhi. atop a special flight that landed at the Delhi Technical Airport. Now, he's being described as a major drug kingpin who's managing a transnational narcotics network, which is in fact estimated to be worth over rupees 5,000 crore annually. Now, he was based out of Istanbul, where the Turkish police and authorities nabbed him, and after that, under a special Interpol red notice by the Indian agencies, he's now been deported to India. Those are the NCB officials, the Narcotic Drugs Bureau officials who are taking Salem Dola to their headquarters for interrogation. And he's in fact also expected to be handed over to the Mumbai police later. Now remember, he was apprehended in Istanbul following a joint operation by the Turkish intelligence and local police. And now he's been deported to India from Turkey. He landed at the Delhi Technical Airport atop a special flight just this morning. Now, in fact, he's estimated to be a kingpin of assets worth over rupees 5,000 crore annually. Viewers, now shifting focus to another case that we're tracking from Mumbai that happened in Mira Road. Now, a victim has testified how the attack took place, where the attacker came to the security guards, asked them if they were Hindus, and also asked them to recite the kalma. And when they couldn't do so, the victims were stabbed. Take a look at the visuals. This is the victim, a security guard in Mira Road, that was stabbed by the attacker that you can see on the left side of your screens. Now, the victim also reveals that the attacker asked him if he was a Hindu. Not just that, the victim also goes on to say that after he was struck, the attacker then made his way inside the building near the supervisor's office, the security supervisor's office. He also asked the supervisor, and he said that you are a Hindu too, right? And then he goes on to stab him as well. In fact, the supervisor has been injured a lot more than the security guard. In fact, this is a local resident that the guards had seen in the area before as well. In fact, Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has taken full cognizance, and he said that the Mumbai police will give maximum support possible and coordination possible to the central agencies that are now looking at the case. Listen in.
मुळामध्ये एकूण हे जे प्रकरण आहे हे बघितलं तर सेल्फ रॅडिकलायझेशनचे प्रकरण आहे. मोठ्या प्रमाणात पुस्तकं, साहित्य, इंटरनेट या माध्यमातनं रॅडिकलायझेशनचा जो प्रयत्न आहे त्या प्रयत्नातनं हा जो व्यक्ती आहे, आरोपी आहे, हा तयार झालेला दिसतोय. त्यामुळे याला केवळ काहीतरी आपल्याला जिहाद करायचा आहे, आणि जिहाद करायचा म्हणजे इतर धर्मियांना मारायचं आहे, अशा पद्धतीच्या विचाराने पेटून त्यांनी हे कार्य केलेलं आहे. त्याला पकडलेलं आहे. आता ATS आणि NIAची मदत घेऊन या रॅडिकलायझेशनच्या पाठीमागे कोण कोण आहे हे देखील या ठिकाणी शोधण्यात येईल. याचं कुटुंब हे परदेशात आहे, ते अमेरिकेमध्ये आहे. हाही अनेक वर्ष परदेशात राहिलेला आहे. त्यानंतर इथे आल्यानंतर पहिल्यांदा कुर्ल्यामध्ये आणि त्याच्यानंतर नवानगरला तो राहायला आला. त्यामुळे आता याच्या पाठीमागे कोण कोण आहेत, याच्या लिंकमध्ये कोण कोण आहेत, अजून कोणी असे रॅडिकलाइज झाले आहेत का, या सगळ्या गोष्टी ज्या आहेत त्या आता तपासामध्ये पुढे येतील.
Viewers, now Republic also managed to get an exclusive conversation with one of the eyewitnesses to the attack. Listen in to what he says.
मुळामध्ये एकूण
मैं बाहर गया था काम से, तो घर जा रहा था, तो उतने में वॉचमैन अंदर घुसा ना, तो वॉचमैन लोग डरे हुए थे. मेरे को रुकाए, बोले ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है. तो फिर मैं डायरेक्ट उसका हाथ पकड़ा, चौकी लेके गया फ़ौरन उसको. फिर उसने पुलिस चौकी में सब बताया. फिर उसने बोला कि
किसका हाथ पकड़े थे?
पहले वॉचमैन का लिया, क्योंकि जो दूसरा लगा सुबरा था वो अंदर छुपा हुआ था, मतलब डर के मारे छुपा था अंदर, बाहर नहीं आ रहा था. तो वॉचमैन ने उन लोगों ने बोले कि वो अंदर ही है. तो मैं उसको ढूंढा, मिला, तो उसको ही पकड़ के मैं चौकी लेके गया. फिर पुलिस वाले लोग ने बोले कि उसको जाके तेम्बा हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचा दो. तेम्बा हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचा के मैं आ गया अपना.
उस समय जो राजकुमार थे मिश्रा, उस समय थे वहाँ पे?
नहीं, वो टाइम थे उनको, वो सुब्रतों की जान बचाने के लिए उसने उसको भी चाकू मार दिया. ऐसा बोल रहे.
अच्छा, कौन बोल रहा था?
वॉचमैन लोग ही बोल रहे थे.
तो सुब्रतो कहाँ छुपा था?
सुब्रतो मेन सुब्रत तो यहाँ पे बाहर बैठा था, तो बाहर हुआ था पहले। वो अपनी जान बचाते बचाते अंदर भागा। अंदर जो मिश्रा जी करके वो हेड है यहाँ के, उन लोग के हेड है, सुपरवाइजर है। तो उनने इन लोग की जान बचाने के लिए तो उसको भी मार दिया चाकू।
उस समय कैसी स्थिति, कैसी उनका हालात था राजकुमार मिश्रा का?
वो मैं देखा नहीं।
और सुब्रतो का?
सुब्रतो को ज़्यादा नहीं लगी, थोड़ी एक ही पीठ पे लगी थी खाली।
कुछ बोल रहा था सुब्रतो?
हाँ वो बोल रहा था, वो कुछ तो हुआ था, बोल रहा था साइको था, कुछ पागल था, आके मार रहा था।
Also being joined by my colleague सत्य प्रकाश। सत्य प्रकाश जी, आप पूरे केस को हर तरीके से जाके देख रहे हैं। आपने आई विटनेस से बात की है, आपने गार्ड्स की टेस्टिमनी भी ली है। आप क्या और बता सकते हैं हमें इस केस के बारे में, अटैकर के बारे में क्या और डिटेल्स दे सकते हैं जो कि पुलिस ने आपको बताई हो?
देखिए, इस मामले को लेकर महाराष्ट्र एटीएस के साथ साथ एनआईए भी जांच करना शुरू कर दिया है, क्योंकि जिस तरह से आईएसआई के साथ लिंक जुड़ा है, मामला आया है, संदिग्ध देखने को मिला है, जिसके बाद कहीं न कहीं इस जांच को आगे बढ़ाया जा रहा है। साफ तौर से देखने को मिला है कि जो नोट्स बरामद हुए हैं, जुबेर अंसारी जो आरोपी है, जो अटैक किया है, जो धर्म पूछा है, नाम पूछा है और कलमा पढ़ने के लिए बोला है, उसके लिंक कहीं न कहीं आईएसआईएस के साथ जुड़ते हुए दिखाई दिए हैं। जो नोट्स बरामद हुए उसमें जिहाद लिखा हुआ है, आईएसआईएस के बारे में लिखा हुआ है, और साथ ही किस तरह से अटैक करना, इन सारी चीज़ों को लेकर लिखा गया, जिसको लेकर महाराष्ट्र एटीएस जांच कर रही है, एनआईए जांच कर रही है। और ये भी देखा जा रहा है कि जो जुबेर अंसारी है, लगातार सोशल मीडिया के जरिए किसी से बात करता था, सोशल मीडिया खंगाला जा रहा है। और ये भी देखा जा रहा है क्योंकि जो जुबेर अंसारी है वो फिजिक्स पढ़ाता था, ऑनलाइन पढ़ाता था, अकेले रहता था, और साथ ही अमेरिका भी आता जाता था, उसका परिवार जो है अमेरिका में रहते थे। इन सारी चीज़ों कड़ियाँ जोड़ते हुए महाराष्ट्र एटीएस जांच कर रही है, एनआईए जांच कर रही है, और लगातार कई लोग का बयान दर्ज किया है अभी तक महाराष्ट्र एटीएस ने। और ये भी देख रही है कि जिस तरह से घटना का अंजाम दिया, कहीं न कहीं पुलिस प्लान के तहत किया गया है। इन सारी चीज़ों को लेकर महाराष्ट्र एटीएस खंगाल रही है।
जी सत्य प्रकाश, धन्यवाद हम तक ये सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन पहुंचाने के लिए। हम आपसे जुड़े रहेंगे। For now viewers, it's time to shift focus. It's time to slip into a short commercial break. But don't go anywhere. On the other side, we get you more details into what's happening in West Bengal as Uttar Pradesh's top cop Ajay Pal Sharma has now been deputed in West Bengal. A huge frenzy that's broken out between the TMC and the BJP over the deployment. Getting you all the details after this short break. Stay tuned.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा और मसाला, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और बरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more
Uttar Pradesh's Singham, who has been deputed in Bengal for polls, is sending TMC into a tizzy, resulting in threats and protests. This and a lot more on the other side. Stay tuned to Republic TV.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी। The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane through the visor and the missile follows the eyes. This high off-bore sight ability lets the jet attack from strange angles without turning the whole plane first. This upgrade matters a lot because the region stays tense. Pakistan flies JF-17 jets with modern PL-10 missiles that reach farther and lock on quicker. China uses even better systems on its J-20 stealth fighters and other planes. In a real dogfight, the old MiG-29 with R-73 could lose the first shot. With ASRAAM, the Indian pilots get longer reach, faster lock, and higher chance to survive. The missile also works well against low-flying drones that are hard to see on radar. Many experts see drone swarms as the new big threat in air wars, and this upgrade gives the MiG-29 a strong answer. The ASRAAM already proved itself on Indian planes. The Air Force fitted it successfully on the homemade LCA Tejas and the Jaguar fighters. Those tests went smooth, so putting it on the MiG-29 UPG is a natural next step. The request includes new launchers, special tools, testing equipment, and training for ground crews and pilots. Once the work finishes, the whole fleet will get the missiles step by step. This keeps the MiG-29 useful for many more years until newer Indian planes, like more Tejas and the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, join in big numbers. Upgrading the existing MiG-29 fleet saves huge money compared to buying fresh fighters from abroad. It also shows a smart way of mixing technology. India still uses Russian planes but adds Western weapons when they fit better. After supply problems from global sanctions, this diversification makes sure the Air Force never runs short of parts or missiles. The MiG-29 UPG with ASRAAM now matches the close combat power of top Western jets like the Eurofighter or Rafale. Pilots who fly the MiG-29 love its speed and quick turns. With the new missile, the plane stays agile but hits harder and from safer distance. In modern wars full of electronic jamming and surprise attacks, this extra edge can decide who wins. The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can. Anil Ambani in bigger trouble now. ED attaches a fresh assets worth 3,034 crore properties of Reliance Communications and Infra attached.
पास के जितने भी लोग हैं अच्छी तरह से समझ लें कि अगर किसी ने बदमाशी करी तो उनका कायदे से इलाज किया जाएगा फिर
TMC versus BJP over appointment of Uttar Pradesh's top police cop. Ajay Pal Sharma as poll observer in West Bengal. TMC says Bengal is no Uttar Pradesh.
साफ भाषा में अजय पाल शर्मा जी को एक चीज बताना चाहता हूं। 4 तारीख रिजल्ट निकलने के बाद आप जहां भी भाग जाएं, आप छुप नहीं पाएंगे।
TMC spokesperson openly threatens IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma, after which TMC workers began to stage protests against the IPS officer deputed for Bengal polls. In a Pahalgam-style attack, Mumbai man stabs a security guard after asking them to recite Kalma. ISIS link material found at accused home. Attempted detonation attack in Patiala on railway track. Accused identified as Jagrup, whose mutilated body was found 500 meters away. BJP takes a big lead in Gujarat local body elections, up trailing behind Congress in all districts of Gujarat. All right, viewers, our top focus at this hour, terrorist Dawood Ibrahim's aide Salem Dola now brought to court in New Delhi. Now remember, he was arrested earlier from Istanbul. He is now extradited to India, in fact, being produced before the court in the capital city. Now he has been running a multi-nation drug trafficking network. It's a major blow for the terrorist Dawood Ibrahim. He's a right man, a close aide of the terrorist, who's now being produced, in fact, in New Delhi. We're getting you these live visuals from Delhi as Salem Dola is now set to be produced before the court. These are exclusive visuals on Republic First as Salem Dola, who's a very close aide of a terrorist Dawood Ibrahim, is now being produced before the court in New Delhi. Now, remember, he was arrested earlier from Istanbul Turkey. It was a joint operation carried out by investigative agency and Turkey police. After that, he's been extradited to India and now set to be produced before the court. We're getting you these live visuals from outside the court as he's all set to now be produced before the court. You can see on your screen Salem Dola about to be produced before the court. In fact, NCB officials are present outside the court premises as well. Now remember, he has been running this drug trafficking ring spanning across countries. In fact, his multiple factories have also been running in Maharashtra. He was arrested before in Turkey, Istanbul, in a joint operation carried out by investigative agency and Turkey police. He was extradited to India earlier and now being produced before the court in New Delhi. We're getting you these live visuals outside the court premises where Salem Dola, who's a close aide of a terrorist Dawood Ibrahim, is now being produced before the court. All right, my colleague Saurav, who's been very closely tracking this story, now joins with more details. Saurav, take us through the details you are picking up about these court proceedings. Salem Dola being presented before the court in New Delhi.
Yes, the Narcotics Control Bureau has sought the remand of the Salem Dola, who is a close aide of Dawood Ibrahim, and the court has asked for his custody to uncover his whole network, which is spread across the borders. And currently, they are also, they will, after the interrogation, they will hand the Salem Dola to the Mumbai police for further interrogation. And apart from this, I want to tell our viewers that Salem Dola is arrested after a decade from the Turkey, and he has been brought back to the national capital this morning only. And he was running a major syndicate of drugs across borders, and he is dealing in the MD and charas and other sorts of drugs, and he is the biggest supplier of drugs in India. And the authorities got a major breakthrough, and they have arrested him from Istanbul, Turkey, in a joint operation with the Turkish police also. And currently, he has been produced before the court, and the proceedings of the court are still underway. And apart from this, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has also tweeted that the agencies have got a major breakthrough, and now the agencies have spread their footprints across the border also. And he also told that anyone who is running a major drug syndicate by sitting abroad, they won't be spared, and there is now no place to hide for a kingpin of drug syndicate and any person who are dealing with drugs and sending drugs to.
Right, Saurav, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll continue to come back to you on this development as court will give its judgment in the case. And now we are shifting focus to the election-bound state of West Bengal. Now, TMC supporters at Falta constituency are agitating against the IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma in South 24 Parganas. Now, remember, Ajay Pal Sharma has been posted as a poll observer in West Bengal. He has been performing his duty, going around from street to street, house to house, cautioning these miscreants to not engage in intimidating voters, to not threaten voters, and to assure that voting can take place in a fearless atmosphere. But TMC clearly not happy with it. We have seen open threats now being issued by TMC spokesperson. In fact, slogans are being raised by TMC supporters during the flag march conducted by the IPS officer who holds a rank of DIG in Uttar Pradesh, but now has been posted as a poll observer in the state of West Bengal. In fact, we'll get you more and more visuals of Ajay Pal Sharma, which are now emerging as he performs his duty in a bold manner. But clearly, TMC not happy with an officer just performing his duty.
अच्छी तरह से समझ लें कि अगर किसी ने बदमाशी करी तो उनका कायदे से इलाज किया जाएगा। फिर अगर कहीं से खबर आ गई कि किसी ने कोई खुराफात करने की, किसी को परेशान करने की कोशिश की है, तो फिर उसकी खबर फिर अच्छे से लेंगे हम। ये जहांगीर के घर वाले भी खड़े हैं, उसको बता देना कायदे से। ये बार बार जो खबरें आ रही हैं कि उसके लोग धमका रहे हैं, तो फिर अच्छे से खबर लेंगे, फिर बाद में रोना पछताना मत। होगा ना, आने वाले कह रहे हैं कि रिपोर्ट नहीं, हमारा ऐसे कह रहा है कि 10 लोग हैं यहाँ पे, तुम कह रहे 14 लोग हैं यहाँ पे, तमाशा है क्या ये?
গলা কেটে দেব, কিন্তু পৃথিবীর ধমকানো চমকানোতে জাহাঙ্গীর খান এবং জাহাঙ্গীর খানের টিম ভয় পায়নি এবং আগামী দিনে ভয় পাবে না, সেটা মাথায় রাখতে হবে। আজকে ওরা অনেক খেলা দেখাচ্ছে, তা খেলা তো ওরা শুরু করেছে, শেষটা কিন্তু আমরা করব। খেলা তো ওরা শুরু করেছে, কিন্তু শেষটা আমরা করব। তাই পিকচার আবি বাকি মেরা দোস্ত, পিকচার এখন বাকি আছে, সময় শুরু হয়েছে। তোমরা ভাবছো নিজেকে কয়েকটা সিআরপিএফ নিয়ে বড় বড় বাতালা দিচ্ছ, কিন্তু আজকের গঙ্গনগর 1 নম্বর অঞ্চলে মানুষ যদি হেঁটে যায় না, সিআরপিএফ হাওয়ায় উড়ে যাবে। তাই সেই বিজেপি দালাল সিআরপিএফকে বলতে চাই, ক্ষমতা আছে গঙ্গনগর 1 নম্বর অঞ্চলের মানুষের জনসমুদ্র, জনস্রোত দেখে যাক। আমার একটা মায়েরা হলো দুর্গা, দুর্গা রূপে কিভাবে ওষুধকে বধ করতে হয় তারা জানে, একইভাবে বিজেপি দালাল সিআরপিকে কিভাবে জব্দ করতে হয়, কিভাবে টাইট করতে হয় সেটা ভালোভাবে জানে। তাই মায়েরা যখন সঙ্গে আছে, আমার বিশ্বাস ওদের এই ধমকানো চমকানো আমরা মেনে নেব না। তাই আমি চাইবো যে আজকে 27 তারিখে 5টায় প্রচার শেষ, তাই হাতে আর তো একটা দিন আছে, আপনার একটা দিন, আর 29 তারিখটা।
Now viewers, let's listen in how TMC in such a tizzy that its spokesperson Riju Datta is brazenly threatening the IPS officer on camera when he's just performing his poll duty. Take a listen.
पर मैं साफ भाषा में अजय पाल शर्मा जी को एक चीज बताना चाहता हूं, आपके ऊपर हमारी नजर है। आप जो ये गैर कानूनी काम कर रहे हैं, ये जो रात के अंधेरे में रेड्स कर रहे हैं, ये जो महिलाओं के साथ अश्लील व्यवहार कर रहे हैं, ये जो डायमंड हार्बर के लोगों को धमका रहे हैं, चमका रहे हैं, ये जो असंवैधानिक काम आप कर रहे हैं अपने बीजेपी के मालिकों के निर्देश पे, मैं आपको इतना बता देना चाहता हूं, 4 तारीख रिजल्ट निकलने के बाद आप जहां भी भाग जाएं, आप छुप नहीं पाएंगे। आपको ऐसा लगता होगा कि हम एक दूसरे राज्य से आए हैं, वहां पर हम चले जाएंगे और मेरा बीजेपी का मालिक मुझे बचा लेगा। मैं आपको सीधी तौर पे यह कहना चाहता हूं कि आपके खिलाफ एफआईआर होगा, आपके खिलाफ चार्जशीट होगा और आपको घसीट के कोर्ट में लाया जाएगा, जहां पर कानून सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई आपके खिलाफ करेगी। कोई राज्य, कोई बीजेपी का मालिक आपको बचा नहीं पाएगा।
And now viewers are staying with more developments coming to light from Bengal. Now security has been massively stepped up in the state as polling continues amid concerns over violence. Now with over 2.4 lakh CAPF personnel deployed across the state, Republic brings you an exclusive ground report from inside Bengal's election war room, tracking how officials are working round the clock to ensure peaceful voting, even as incidents in phase 1 and fresh recoveries ahead of phase 2 raise serious questions. Here's a full report. Take a look.
2.4 lakh CAPF personnel are now in Bengal to ensure peaceful polls. Republic brings to you an exclusive report from the war room of Bengal.
This is an integrated control center. There's also a war room because we have seen the violence in the year 2021. We have seen the violence in 2024, and there's a history of immense violence, and there's also loss of trust factor in the paramilitary forces also amongst the citizens and among these CRPF forces. There was never a coordination between state and the paramilitary as well. But this time what we see is the paramilitary forces and the kind of integrated center which has been made.
During the first phase of Bengal polls, a lot has happened, from hurling crude bombs to politicians' cars being vandalized. To make sure no stone is left unturned, there has been a special control center set up to gather all the information.
If you see, there's a control center, entire control center which has been made. I'll ask my camera person to show you the visuals how this control center is equipped with almost 50 to 70 security personnel and officers. These all are the officers who are connecting each and everything. They are working on the data, they are working on the helpline number, and more than 70 officers are right now working on it. There's something new integrated mechanism which they have planned this time in this war room.
Republic spoke to one of the coordinating officers regarding the SAFE app, a new system which has been integrated.
There are different polling locations which are being mapped here. We have the number of personnel who are being posted there. If they want to create any kind of alert, we get the live location of these numbers and we respond to any situation in terms of the force augmentation. Any kind of force augmentation that is required in terms of QAT or any other response is required for that system, we are able to provide it. We tried it in the first phase. We got a lot of information, different kind of information which required a consolidated response, and we were able to provide it. So this time again in the phase 2, we will be doing it is done by the consolidated effort of all the CAPF. All the CAPF have consolidated this system and we have tried to incorporate this system here.
There was also a wireless system which was set up to make sure everything runs smoothly.
So all the company commanders and all the units have a traditional system of wireless in which they intimate there, and in case we have to provide any immediate information or any direction, we use the system to directly transmit the information, because these are the system which works even in the communication shadow area.
Just before the second phase, crude bombs and gunpowder were also recovered. To this, the coordinating officer told Republic about how this information is recovered.
As directed by the Honorable Election Commission, ma'am, we came here well in advance and our troops did lot of confidence building measures there in different areas, and as the direction was there, we covered almost every street, nook and corner, and we have familiarized our troops with those areas, and we got lot of information from the common men also. So this is how our information system develops. On one hand, we have the social media system. We have integrated our control room with the CO control room. Our DFC, the district force coordinator, sits in the DO control room with the district control room. So every system is integrated so that no information is missed in which we have to make any kind of response.
The coordinating officer also told Republic about the number of soldiers deployed.
We have around 2,550 companies of CAPF deployed in the West Bengal elections. There is no booth which is not manned by CAPF. We have more than 6,000 QATs which will be, or the QRTs which will be on place. The sensitive booths have been augmented with additional forces. We have the system of sector mobile and the sector police, which is done by the state police. We work in close tandem. All the QRTs work in close tandem. As you have seen the information system, the moment we get any input of any kind, the whole system responds to it. The troops are briefed by all the respective DGs at the ground level. The troops are very motivated. The troops are well prepared. They are doing extensive confidence building measure exercises as directed by the Honorable Election Commission of India. And through you, I would appeal to the public to exercise their right to vote. We have a robust system of security here and we will respond to any situation. Our all the formation, all the senior formation to ground formations will be on ground very early on the polling day.
There were various officers sitting to handle situations in polling booths.
More than 50 to 70 officers are here and the clusters have been named here. This is very interesting how this war room has been set up. Atnu, if we can come here and if we can focus on the clusters, that's how the officials are working. So there are the clusters written here, cluster 6, cluster 7, cluster 6, the name of the district, and also, exactly how they get the information and the response time between the state police, which gets the tip first, and the alignment and coordination with the CRPF forces. Sir, अगर आप हमें बता सके कि ये जो क्लस्टर है इसके हिसाब से कैसे काम होगा?
मैम, क्लस्टर्स में एक एक जगह में डिटेल कर रखा है. अपना पोल बूथ में कौन कौन डिटेल है उसको हम जानकारी लेने के लिए हम लोग फोन कर रहे हैं मैम. और उधर का सिचुएशन नेक्स्ट है सिचुएशन हम पूछ रहे हैं सर.
तो सर आप लोग नोट डाउन करते रहते हैं जैसे आपको इन्फॉर्मेशन पोलिंग बूथ से?
यस मैम, यस मैम.
कंपाइल करने के बाद
कंपेल करने के बाद हम लोग डाटा इधर स्टोर करते हैं मैम. कोई भी समस्या होगा तो तुरंत हम इमीडिएटली उनको रिसॉल्व करेंगे.
With a huge number of CAPF and police personnel ready for any situation, these assembly elections are no less than general elections.
All right, viewers, so that's all we could pack in this edition of Live in Breaking. Thanks so much for watching and don't go anywhere. Coming up on the other side, we get you all the details about a Pahalgam-style attack carried out by a Mumbai man who stabbed a security guard after asking them to recite Kalma. And now ISIS linked material has been found at the accused home. Getting you all the updates on the other side. Stay tuned to Republic TV.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार.
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डवेयर मसाला.
यानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं.
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा. रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना.
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं. रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात.
वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है.
अरे मेरे राजा,
सबका राजा हार्डवेयर मसाला.
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds...
Viewers, coming up on the other side, Mumbai man carries out Pahalgam-style attack, stabs security guard after asking them to recite Kalma. All the updates lined up on the other side. Stay tuned to Republic TV.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच कच्चे लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the advanced short-range air-to-air missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBD.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Trinamool versus BJP over appointment of Uttar Pradesh's police officer Ajay Pal Sharma as West Bengal poll observer. TMC says Bengal is not Uttar Pradesh.
साफ भाषा में अजय पाल शर्मा जी को एक चीज बताना चाहता हूं। 4 तारीख रिजल्ट निकलने के बाद आप जहां भी भाग जाएं, आप छुप नहीं पाएंगे।
TMC completely nervous after security measures in Bengal begins to stage protests against IPS Sharma, deputed for Bengal polls. In a Pahalgam-style attack, Mumbai man stabbed security guard. TMC completely nervous after security measures in Bengal begins to stage protests against IPS officer deputed for Bengal. In a Pahalgam-style attack, Mumbai man stabbed security guard after IS-linked material found at accused's home. And Pahalgam-style attack in Maharashtra, victim reveals he was stabbed after being asked to recite kalma. Maharashtra Chief Minister Fadnavis hints at a bigger controversy over Pahalgam attack. A style attack, says thorough probe underway. Attempted detonation attack in Patiala on railway track. Accused identified as Jagrup Nihang, whose mutilated body was found 500 meters away from the railway tracks. Storm over RSS at Jamia University. SFI activists protest against RSS centenary event held on campus. Anil Ambani in big trouble now. ED attaches fresh assets worth 3,000 plus crore rupees. Properties of Reliance Communications and Infra attached. Well, let's let's begin with Bengal, friends, where TMC supporters are agitating against IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma in Falta area. And this is in South 24 Parganas. Election observer Ajay Pal Sharma had warned relatives of Trinamool Falta candidate Jahangir Khan after complaints of voter intimidation. Following the complaints, CAPF or the Central Armed Paramilitary Forces conducted a search march in the Assembly constituency. Trinamool supporters of Jahangir Khan have raised slogans now during the flag march. These are pictures of Trinamool supporters sloganeering against the security personnel, the Central Armed Paramilitary Forces, as they were carrying out flag march. And remember that Ajay Pal Sharma clip going viral, the Uttar Pradesh officer who's there as one of the poll observers had warned the locals of intimidating voters. In fact, let's listen to that clip of the officer who had had that exchange with the Jahangir Khan's supporters.
आसपास के जितने भी लोग हैं अच्छी तरह से समझ लें कि अगर किसी ने बदमाशी करी तो उनका कायदे से इलाज किया जाएगा। फिर अगर कहीं से खबर आ गई कि किसी ने कोई खुराफात करने की, किसी को परेशान करने की कोशिश की है, तो फिर उसकी खबर फिर अच्छे से लेंगे हम। ये जहांगीर के घर वाले भी खड़े हैं, उसको बता देना कायदे से। ये बार बार जो खबरें आ रही हैं कि उसके लोग धमका रहे हैं, तो फिर अच्छे से खबर लेंगे, फिर बाद में रोना पछताना मत। शुरू होगा ना, आने वाले कह रहे हैं कि वोट नहीं और ऐसे कह रहे हैं कि 10 लोग हैं यहाँ पे, 14 लोग हैं यहाँ पे, तमाशा है क्या?
কিন্তু পৃথিবীর ধমকানো চমকানোতে জাহাঙ্গীর খান এবং জাহাঙ্গীর খানের টিম ভয় পায়নি এবং আগামী দিনে ভয় পাবে না, সেটা মাথায় রাখতে হবে। আজকে ওরা অনেক খেলা দেখাচ্ছে, তা খেলা তো ওরা শুরু করেছে, শেষটা কিন্তু আমরা করব। খেলা তো ওরা শুরু করেছে, কিন্তু শেষটা আমরা করব। তাই পিকচার আবি বাকি মেরা দোস্ত, পিকচার এখন বাকি আছে, সময় শুরু হয়েছে। তোমরা ভাবছো নিজেকে কয়েকটা সিআরপিএফ নিয়ে বড় বড় মাতালা দিচ্ছ, কিন্তু আজকের গঙ্গনগর 1 নম্বর অঞ্চলের মানুষ যদি হেঁটে যায় না, সিআরপিএফ হাওয়ায় উড়ে যাবে। তাই সেই বিজেপি দালাল সিআরপিএফকে বলতে চাই, ক্ষমতা আছে গঙ্গনগর 1 নম্বর অঞ্চলের মানুষের জনসমুদ্র, জনস্রোত দেখে যাক। আমার একটা মায়েরা হলো দুর্গা, দুর্গা রূপে কিভাবে ওষুধকে বধ করতে হয় তারা জানে, একইভাবে বিজেপি দালাল সিআরপিএফকে কিভাবে জব্দ করতে হয়, কিভাবে টাইট করতে হয় সেটা ভালোভাবে জানে। তাই মায়েরা যখন সঙ্গে আছে, আমার বিশ্বাস ওদের এই ধমকানো চমকানো আমরা মেনে নেব না। তাই আমি চাইব যে আজকে 27 তারিখে 5টায় প্রচার শেষ, তাই হাতে আর তো একটা দিন আছে, আপনার একটা দিন আর 29 তারিখটা।
पर मैं साफ भाषा में अजय पाल शर्मा जी को एक चीज बताना चाहता हूं, आपके ऊपर हमारी नजर है। आप जो ये गैर कानूनी काम कर रहे हैं, ये जो रात के अंधेरे में रेड्स कर रहे हैं, ये जो महिलाओं के साथ अश्लील व्यवहार कर रहे हैं, ये जो डायमंड हार्बर के लोगों को धमका रहे हैं, चमका रहे हैं, ये जो असंवैधानिक काम आप कर रहे हैं अपने बीजेपी के मालिकों के निर्देश पे, मैं आपको इतना बता देना चाहता हूं, 4 तारीख रिजल्ट निकलने के बाद आप जहां भी भाग जाएं, आप छुप नहीं पाएंगे। आपको ऐसा लगता होगा कि हम एक दूसरे राज्य से आए हैं, वहां पर हम चले जाएंगे और मेरा बीजेपी का मालिक मुझे बचा लेगा। मैं आपको सीधी तौर पे यह कहना चाहता हूं कि आपके खिलाफ एफआईआर होगा, आपके खिलाफ चार्जशीट होगा और आपको घसीट के कोर्ट में लाया जाएगा, जहां पर कानून सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई आपके खिलाफ करेगी। कोई राज्य, कोई बीजेपी का मालिक आपको बचा नहीं पाएगा।
All right, Harsha joins us live for more on this. Harsha, complete politicization of security arrangements in Bengal with this particular officer being targeted by Trinamool. Harsha, are you getting me? My question is, we are seeing complete politicization of this officer's attempts at bringing fear of rule of law among some hooligans. And we are seeing Trinamool directly attack the officer deployed by the Election Commission.
Yes, Abhishek, and that's the pattern which we have seen in the past, that whenever any police observer or the election observer, they come, in the past we have seen in 2021 election, 23 panchayat polls also, the observers were attacked. They were not allowed to go, for the area domination rounds as well. But this time the election machinery and the security have been so heightened that right now no state police officials are in alliance with the state government and rather the TMC candidates as well. But what we see here is that now the desperation of TMC candidate have come out for the second phase of West Bengal election. Now the TMC candidate Jahangir from the Falta, Abhishek, he is the close aide of Abhishek Banerjee. The particular assembly constituency is in South 24 Pargana in Diamond Harbour region, and this is the area where there is the extreme challenge for the security official to ensure that none of the voters are intimidated and all of them come out, and there has to be fair voting as well, because this particular area in 2023 has witnessed immense violence. There were several injuries and also the murder was also reported in this particular constituency. So it's very important, and that is the reason why Ajay Pal Sharma was giving a befitting reply to Jahangir, who was openly threatening and intimidating voters to vote in favor of TMC. Ajay Pal Sharma just was doing his duty, but also explaining in the language of Jahangir only to him that he has to better stop his men from threatening the electors. He will cry it later or regret it then. That were the words of the Ajay Pal Sharma, and also majorly the election machinery and the others have applauded. In fact, Abhishek, Calcutta High Court has also denied interfering in the case of the Ajay Pal Sharma. When the petition was filed against Ajay Pal Sharma this morning, Calcutta High Court has denied that they will not interfere in the deployment of the police observer. That clearly sends around the message that how this particular state, and before phase 2, such observers are only needed so that the voters come out in huge numbers and cast their vote without being intimidated. But what we see here, the TMC alliance parties like Samajwadi Party, Congress, they all have come all out in support of candidate Jahangir. Akhilesh Yadav is calling him agenda-driven agent, he's a former chief minister of UP, because Ajay Pal Sharma was earlier deployed in Rampur and Sambhal, and he was the one person who has taken stringent action against the hooliganism in Rampur and Sambhal. Abhishek, we have seen those visuals in Sambhal. And this time, Mahmood Moitra is calling him fair and lovely boy, posting the videos which is being alleged that those are the AI videos, not even the justified videos. So politics has now turned around the Ajay Pal Sharma and his deployment while he's doing his duty in the Falta area, doing area domination, going door to door and entrusting the voters to come out and vote tomorrow.
Is it a case, Harsha, of the reputation of the officer preceding him? Because otherwise he seems to be just doing his duty, making sure that flag march is carried out, making sure that no untoward incident is reported, given the fact that this is a sensitive constituency. He's someone who's just warning anti-socials to not take law in their hands, to intimidate voters. But for the fact that he's from Uttar Pradesh and that he has this reputation of being an encounter specialist. Okay, Harsha, stay with us. In fact, there is another important breaking news development coming in. Calcutta High Court has refused to interfere in the matter filed by or against the UP cadre IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma, and the petition was filed by Trinamool cadres, and the Calcutta High Court has refused to intervene or accept it. The court has said that they cannot interfere in the matter till April 29. So even the High Court of Calcutta giving an indication that let matters be, and that it's important because remember it's a delicate balance between various constitutional bodies, and the Calcutta High Court cannot be seen to be interfering in what is essentially an election commission dictated deployment for the model code of conduct. Harsha stays with us live, so I go back to Harsha. Harsha, I was asking, but for the reputation of the officer as an encounter specialist in Uttar Pradesh preceding him, he was only doing his duty, and now even the Calcutta High Court has said, let things prevail and let elections be held properly. They are not intervening.
Abhishek, the later one, the statement the question which you asked me, the later one, the later is the right thing to say, that yes, he's an encounter specialist, he is very popular in Uttar Pradesh, and also Abhishek, he's the kind of officer that he doesn't get scared, he can't be intimidated, he's not the one to whom the TMC goons or TMC candidate or anyone powerful comes out and threatens in public. He's not the kind of officer who will take it all. He has the history of responding to the hooliganism, to responding to the anti-social elements and taking stern action against them. He has the history, and he has worked in the similar pattern in UP, in Prayagraj, in Sambhal, in Rampur areas, and that is the reason why he is grabbing a lot of attention of social media, because till now none of the police observer or the election observer has spoken in the language as the language of TMC candidate or responded to them in the same language as they openly keep threatening. This is the very first time that he is responding to Jahangir, the TMC candidate, in his own language, and that is the reason why this video has gone viral. Abhishek, had Ajay Pal Sharma not been so stern, and had he only very calmly spoken to Jahangir, then it wouldn't have grabbed a lot of attention on social media. But he went to Jahangir's house, he told him he can't threaten the voters. If he threatens them, the police will deal with him properly. That is the reason why this video has gone viral, and why the forces, the entire TMC force have gone against Ajay Pal Sharma, and he's grabbing a lot of attention. But Abhishek, let me tell you, in the state like West Bengal, where immense violence is reported in the past, where the officers were even not left barred, they were also attacked previously. Such officers like Ajay Pal Sharma, in their presence only, the voting can happen peacefully. It's very difficult to ensure that there's no booth capturing, there's no rigging, there's no proxy voting. It will only happen with officers like Ajay Pal Sharma when they will stand outside booth, and they will ensure that there's no crude bomb, no explosives are being hurled, there's no clash between the BLOs of different parties. Only then the voting can happen fairly, and therefore Ajay Pal Sharma is majorly deployed in South 24 Parganas because he can handle it all. Back to you.
Harsha, for joining us from Bengal there, giving us a lowdown on the Ajay Pal Sharma Rao. And for now, we come out of Bengal and on to India's financial capital, Mumbai, where in a shocking incident reminiscent of the Pahalgam terror attack, a 31-year-old Mumbai native, Jaib Zubair Ansari, who had returned from the United States in 2019, was held for allegedly stabbing 2 private security guards in the Mira Bhayandar Road area, or Naya Nagar area of Mira Bhayandar in Mumbai. After interrogating them about their religious identity, attacker Zubair's handwritten note is now recovered. A breaking news development there in connection with this lone wolf attack story being now investigated by the Maharashtra ATS. And the note is indicative of the kind of indoctrination and radicalization of this youth that has taken place. So if I read the note for you, it becomes clear what he intended to do. He's basically radicalized to a level where he has put up this note for his own reading on the doors of his house, and the note is essentially a quote from the Quran and one particular verse from the Quran Sharif, and he's writing that they should be recited 3 times, and then only after that you begin. I believe it's more like a religious training, but religious training reaching to a level where Zubair is not comfortable seeing people from other religions around. This is the note. It's a handwritten note. This is found from the residence of the accused, and he's in police custody. Maharashtra ATS is investigating the lone wolf aspect of this attack, and this took place at around 4 a.m. in the Nayanagar locality of Mira Bhayandar, and Ansari allegedly approached those two guards, asked for their religion, asked them to recite Kalma. The two guards are identified as Rajkumar Mishra and Subrat Sen, and this was at a construction site. And since they did not know the Kalma, they were not supposed to know the Kalma, they were stabbed, and they are serious. They are seriously wounded. Satya Prakash is going to join us live for more on this story. This is the story which is okay. Before we go to Satya Prakash live, let's listen to the Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. He has weighed in on this terror attack that spanned out in Mumbai today, and reminiscent of not just the Pahalgam terror attack, but the kind of lone wolf attacks that take place in United States. And Ansari, in fact, is someone who has spent some time in the US and come back. Let's listen to Devendra Fadnavis, Maharashtra Chief Minister.
मुळामध्ये एकूण हे जे प्रकरण आहे हे बघितलं तर सेल्फ रॅडिकलायझेशनचे प्रकरण आहे. मोठ्या प्रमाणात पुस्तकं, साहित्य, इंटरनेट या माध्यमातनं रॅडिकलायझेशनचा जो प्रयत्न आहे त्या प्रयत्नातनं हा जो व्यक्ती आहे, आरोपी आहे, हा तयार झालेला दिसतोय. त्यामुळे याला केवळ काहीतरी आपल्याला जिहाद करायचा आहे, आणि जिहाद करायचा म्हणजे इतर धर्मियांना मारायचं आहे, अशा पद्धतीच्या विचाराने पेटून त्यांनी हे कार्य केलेलं आहे. त्याला पकडलेलं आहे. आता ATS आणि NIAची मदत घेऊन या रॅडिकलायझेशनच्या पाठीमागे कोण कोण आहे हे देखील या ठिकाणी शोधण्यात येईल. याचं कुटुंब हे परदेशात आहे, ते अमेरिकेमध्ये आहे. हाही अनेक वर्ष परदेशात राहिलेला आहे. त्यानंतर इथे आल्यानंतर पहिल्यांदा कुर्ल्यामध्ये आणि त्याच्यानंतर नवानगरला तो राहायला आला. त्यामुळे आता याच्या पाठीमागे कोण कोण आहेत, याच्या लिंकमध्ये कोण कोण आहेत, अजून कोणी असे रॅडिकलाइज झाले आहेत का, या सगळ्या गोष्टी ज्या आहेत त्या आता तपासामध्ये पुढे येतील.
Well, that's Devendra Fadnavis telling how he has asked the police to look into the antecedents, how the man or the accused got radicalized, and if there are linkages and some terror network behind or some agencies behind this man. Republic also spoke to one of the eyewitnesses of the incident. Satya Prakash spoke to this eyewitness. Listen to him.
मैं बाहर गया था काम से, तो घर जा रहा था, तो उतने में वॉचमैन अंदर घुसा ना, तो वॉचमैन लोग डरे हुए थे. मेरे को रुकाए, बोले ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है. तो फिर मैं डायरेक्ट उसका हाथ पकड़ा, चौकी लेके गया फ़ौरन उसको. फिर उसने पुलिस चौकी में सब बताया. फिर उसने बोला कि
किसका हाथ पकड़े थे?
पहले वॉचमैन का लिया, क्योंकि जो दूसरा लगा सुबरा था वो अंदर छुपा हुआ था, मतलब डर के मारे छुपा था, अंदर बाहर नहीं आ रहा था. तो वॉचमैन ने उन लोगों ने बोले कि वो अंदर ही है. तो मैं उसको ढूंढा, मिला, तो उसको ही पकड़ के मैं चौकी लेके गया. फिर पुलिस वाले लोग ने बोले कि उसको जाके तेम्बा हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचा दो. तेम्बा हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचा के मैं आ गया अपना.
उस समय जो राजकुमार थे मिश्रा, उस समय थे वहाँ पे?
नहीं, वो टाइम थे उनको, वो उनकी वो सुब्रतों की जान बचाने के लिए उसने उसको भी चाकू मार दिया. ऐसा बोल रहे.
अच्छा, कौन बोल रहा था?
वॉचमैन लोग ही बोल रहे थे.
तो सुब्रतो कहाँ छुपा था?
सुब्रतो मेन सुब्रतो यहाँ पे बाहर बैठा था. तो बाहर हुआ था पहले, वो अपनी जान बचाते बचाते अंदर भागा. अंदर जो मिश्रा जी करके वो हेड है यहाँ के, उन लोग के हेड है, सुपरवाइजर है. तो उनने इन लोग की जान बचाने के लिए तो उसको भी मार दिया चाकू.
उस समय कैसी स्थिति, कैसी उनका हालात था राजकुमार मिश्रा का?
वो मैं देखा नहीं.
और सुब्रतो का?
सुब्रतो को ज़्यादा नहीं लगी, थोड़ी एक ही पीठ पे लगी थी खाली.
कुछ बोल रहा था सुब्रतो?
हाँ, वो बोल रहा था, वो कुछ तो हुआ था, बोल रहा था साइको था, कुछ पागल था, आके मार रहा था.
देखिए, मैं आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी घर
के बाहर मौजूद तस्वीरें में दिखा रहा हूँ किस तरह से यहाँ पर एटीएस ने बाकायदा सील किया है। तस्वीरें देख सकते हैं किस तरह से यहाँ पर महानगर पालिका और नया नगर पुलिस ने इसको सील किया है और साफ तौर से देख सकते हैं किस तरह से यहाँ पे पुलिस का स्टैंप है और इसको घर को सील कर दिया गया है। ये है जुबेर अंसारी के घर। जुबेर अंसारी इसी घर में 1 साल से रह रहा था और अकेले रह रहा था। यहीं से निकला है और यहाँ से कुछ ही दूर पे लगभग हम कह सकते हैं 150 मीटर दूरी पे है जहाँ पे घटना स्थल है, जहाँ पे जाता है और वहाँ पर गार्डों का नाम पूछता है और नाम पूछने के बाद धर्म पूछता है, कलमा पढ़ने के लिए बोलता है। इसके बाद जो हिंदू गार्ड थे उनके ऊपर चाकू से हमला करता है। फिलहाल एटीएस मामले के लिए जांच कर रही है। तस्वीरें में दिखा रहा हूँ किस तरह से ये घर है और घर के बाहर यहाँ पे बाकायदा नोटिस लगा दिया गया है। ये नोटिस देखिए किस तरह से यहाँ पे नया नगर पुलिस ने लगाया है, लोकल पुलिस ने लगाया है और इसमें लिखा है जुबेर अंसारी अटक आरोपी, मतलब गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया है आरोपी को। और इसी घर में जुबेर अंसारी रहता था, 1 साल से रहता था और इसके पहले केरला में रहता था और इसके पहले अमेरिका में रहता था। जो उसका बैकग्राउंड सामने आ रहा है, यहीं से जो है वो केमिस्ट्री पढ़ाता था जो सामने आया है। और जो जिस तरह से ISIS का लिंक आया है, यहाँ से कई ऐसे चीज़ें बरामद हुई जिसको लेकर महाराष्ट्र एटीएस जाँच कर रही है। फिलहाल ये मैं तस्वीरें दिखा रहा हूँ कि यहाँ नोटिस लगाया गया है, अंदर भी नोटिस लगाया गया है और इसको पूरी तरह से सील कर दिया गया है। तो कहीं न कहीं यहाँ पर नया नगर पुलिस और एटीएस ने जुबेर अंसारी के घर को सील कर दिया है। मैं तस्वीरें दिखा रहा हूँ किस तरह से ये घर को सील किया गया है। जुबेर अंसारी ये इसी घर में रहता था। ISIS का लिंक मिला है, नोट्स मिले हैं, गाजा जो नोट्स मिले उसमें गाजा लिखा हुआ है। यहाँ तक कि IS का भी संबंध कई ऐसे तार मिले हुए हैं जिसको लेकर महाराष्ट्र एटीएस जांच कर रही है। फिलहाल लगातार महाराष्ट्र एटीएस की टीम जुबेर अंसारी से पूछताछ कर रही है और साथ ही कई लोग से अभी तक पूछताछ कर चुकी है। मीरा रोड के नया नगर में इसी जगह पर आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी ने 2 सुरक्षा गार्ड पर अटैक किया था। नाम पूछा, धर्म पूछा। इसके बाद आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी ने तुरंत ही जो सुरक्षा गार्ड थे उनके पर हमला किया। यहाँ तक कि जुबेर अंसारी जो है इसी केबिन में एक सुरक्षा गार्ड को अंदर ले गया, चाकू दिखाया और कहा कि कलमा पढ़ो। जब सुरक्षा गार्ड ने कलमा पढ़ने से इनकार किया उसके बाद अटैक कर दिया। यही घटना है, सोमवार की सुबह की घटना है। यहाँ पे जुबेर अंसारी जो आरोपी है इधर आता है और जो सुरक्षा गार्ड है उनसे पूछता है कि मस्जिद जाने का रास्ता कौन है। सुरक्षा गार्डों ने मस्जिद जाने का रास्ता बताते हैं, लेकिन आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी फिर से वापस आता है और जो गार्ड यहाँ पे राजकुमार मिश्रा और सुब्रतो यहाँ पे मौजूद थे उनसे नाम पूछता है कि आपका नाम क्या है, धर्म क्या है। और फिर इसके बाद नाम और धर्म पूछने के बाद यहीं पर अंदर जो केबिन बना है, केबिन में अंदर एक सुरक्षा गार्ड को अंदर ले जाता है और कहता है कि कलमा पढ़ो। सुरक्षा गार्डों ने कलमा पढ़ने से इनकार किया, जिसके बाद आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी ने एक सुरक्षा गार्ड के ऊपर चाकू से हमला कर दिया। दूसरा सुरक्षा गार्ड यहां से जो है छुप के भागा, आगे निकल गया। यह घटना होने के बाद तुरंत यहां के लोगों ने दोनों सुरक्षा गार्ड को बगल में ही हॉस्पिटल है यहां पे भर्ती कराया है। फिलहाल जो जुबेर अंसारी जो आरोपी है उसका लिंक कहीं न कहीं IS से जुड़ता हुआ दिख रहा है। यह भी बात सामने आया है कि जुबेर अंसारी जो आरोपी है वो लगातार ऐसे वीडियो देख रहा था जो IS से जुड़े दिखते थे। ये भी सामने आया है कि जो नोट्स मिले हैं आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी घर से उसमें भी कहीं न कहीं IS से संबंधित पाए गए हैं। एटीएस ने कई ऐसी चीज़ें बरामद की है जो आरोपी का संबंध कहीं न कहीं लिंक जुड़ता हुआ आतंकी संगठन IS से दिख रहा है। फिलहाल एटीएस जांच कर रही है लगातार इस मामले को लेकर और अभी तक एटीएस ने 3 जगह पर रेड किया है जिसमें मोबाइल फोन, लैपटॉप, कई ऐसी चीज़ें बरामद किया है जो शक के दायरे में है। एटीएस कहना कि लगातार हम इस मामले को लेकर हर एंगल से जांच कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जिस तरह से जुबेर अंसारी के पास से चीज़ें मिली है, कुछ ऐसे साहित्य मिली है, कहीं न कहीं शक का दायरा बढ़ते जा रहा है। यही जगह है जहां पर घटना हुआ था, सोमवार की सुबह की घटना हुआ था और यहाँ पर दोनों गार्ड तैनात थे, नॉर्मल रूप से यहाँ पे हर दिन की तरह यहाँ मौजूद थे। और लेकिन जिस तरह से जुबेर अंसारी यहाँ पे आता है, मस्जिद पूछता है कि मस्जिद किधर है, इसके बाद थोड़ी दूर जाके फिर से रिटर्न आता है और यहाँ पे मौजूद दोनों गार्ड पर चाकू से हमला कर देता है। लेकिन चौंकाने वाली ये बात है कि जिस तरह से आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी काफ़ी पढ़ा लिखा है, अमेरिका में रहा हुआ है और जो सामने आ रहा है कि वो केमिस्ट्री भी पढ़ाता था ऑनलाइन। ये भी बात आया है कि वो कई जगहों से कई लोगों से संपर्क में जुड़ा था और इन सारी चीज़ों को लेकर महाराष्ट्र एटीएस लगातार जांच कर रही है।
All right, dangerous development there, and there's going to be prime time debate. Join us at 8 p.m. as Arnab discusses this level of radicalization and why those who always cry wolf when it comes to the Muslim security situation in the country are silent on this lone wolf attack. All that and more. Short break coming up on the other side. Terror attack in Punjab and in Patiala. Accused identified as Jagrup Nihang, whose mutilated body found 500 meters away.
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Director, the taste of success.
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा जीरा सिप
जीरा सिप असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है।
अरे मेरी राजा
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain